What's a secret within your industry that you all don't want the public to know, but they probably should? I'm only supposed to put 6 olives on your foot long. You all deserve to know. I work in visual effects for large Hollywood movies. We do so much digital cleanup and enhancement of practical effects, yet get no credit for how it looks. We only get shit on when a director or studio forces us to make cartoony CG characters or run photorealistic backgrounds. We're the only department that doesn't have a union, yet we're in charge of upwards of half the movie's budget. Life of Pi was shot mostly on green screen, yet the cinematographer got an Oscar, even though most of those shots were created later in VFX without his input. Funeral home worker for 5 years. That casket has a huge markup and it is illegal for a funeral home to not let you source your own casket. In my area Amish make them and their prices run from reasonable to unreasonable, and here's another tip. Walmart sells caskets. They are still slightly overpriced but usually better than what your director is probably selling. Shop your casket options. The chances of you surviving cardiac arrest are only between 5 to 10% with the proper application of life-saving measures. People seem to be under the assumption that most people come back. They don't. That if everyone being charged with a crime insisted on it going to trial, no plea bargaining, the system would crash. I'm a valet. We'll drive your personal car gently. Rentals, we'll try to get air on speed bumps. Also, at least at my location, we're not gonna look through your shit. I don't care what's in your glove box, although I will judge you if your car smells like garbage or farts. I used to work at Texas Roadhouse. Yes, we are required to say hand-cut steaks, freshly baked bread, fall off the bone ribs, ice-cold beer and legendary margaritas. Secret shoppers come in 3 or more times per month as regular guests, and management gets a report of whether or not we said all of the story items, among other things. If you get a bad score on a shop you get fired or you have to be a busser for a month. True story. I work in IT. Most of, if not all of the solutions to tech issues you run into can be found on Google, but we are really good at phrasing the search though, to get right to an answer quickly. There are so many mice and or rats in and around grocery stores. We are required by law to take measure to control the population and dispose of contaminated products, but short of a full-blown infestation no store is going to be shut down for having mice. That most of the people driving trains through your city are sleep-deprived and routinely fall asleep while working. Most people already have the tools I use lying around, and would know how to fix their problem if they watched a 5-minute YouTube video. I used to drive for an escort agency. To make more money the girls would have sex on their periods by inserting a sponge and using a colored condom. Good times. Your hotel room most likely isn't as clean as you think it is. In my state, if I ask for your ID when you order an alcoholic drink and you don't let me check it, I can't serve you. Even if you're super old. Stop being offended when I ask for your obviously in their early 20s child's ID and not yours. I'm not being rude. If you ever hear your waiter tell you that Chef Mike cooked your meal, there's a good chance it was cooked in a microwave. Most money managers don't beat the market net of fees. In other words, you'd be better off buying shares of an ETF, exchange-traded fund, that follows an entire index, such as SP 500, rather than hiring a money manager to try and pick specific stocks that they think will perform better than the market as a whole over time. Banks don't want to foreclose on a home or repo cars. It's lose-lose for them to do it. Get in contact with your bank and see if you can work something out. It's worth the try at least to see if they can figure something out with you. A new car built by my company leaves somewhere traveling at 60 miles per hour. The rear differential locks up. The car crashes and burns with everyone trapped inside. Now, should we initiate a recall? Take the number of vehicles in the field, A, multiplied by the probable rate of failure, B, multiplied by the average out-of-court settlement, C, A times B times C equals X. If X is less than the cost of a recall, we don't do one. Recently started at a grocery store deli. The counter is 5 feet tall. We clean where the customers can see, which isn't much given the height of the counter. The floors are filthy and that's where I can see. Under tables, behind the slicer, around the rotisserie oven, and worse the table where the cakes are decorated, all disgustingly filthy. There are flies everywhere. I tried pulling a table and cleaning behind it and got yelled at, so I ain't trying again. I'm also not eating there. Worked in the tattoo and body piercing industry for years and we all know that the daith piercing, which has been claimed to help with migraines, is a sham, but they'll take your money for believing stupid shit and pretend it works. I've been an auto mechanic since I was 20. Every shop, everywhere, is proactively trying to FK you out of every penny they can. Yes, even your mechanic. If the work is through an auto repair shop or dealership service department, They will charge for extra shit and a lot of places outright lie. Any other tech who says not where I work, because either hasn't worked as one very long, or is lying to your face. I worked in a boarding school until very recently, and despite what establishments of this type may say in their shiny brochures about taking bullying seriously, they only do something about it if parents threaten to sue the school. Otherwise they pretty much let it slide, because expelling the bully means losing at least 10 grand a term in fees, and the flower arrangements in the school office have to be paid for somehow. If you live in apartment/have a landlord and you have a maintenance-related issue that needs their attention, ask them exactly what they are going to do. Visibly/audibly take notes as they explain it to you. Observe them as they fix the problem if you can. Google that shit and check up on whether what they did is in any way related to what they legally/ethically should be doing. To be clear, I'm mostly talking about mold, insect infestations, flooding, gas leaks. Important stuff. Just saying. They're about to raise your fees and you have no idea. Shit is going to hit the fan, you will be pissed, and I will want to stab myself in the face every time I have to say the script to you assholes. Won't specify where, but we do giveaways and sometimes rig the system for people we know to win. I worked at a Japanese casual fast food restaurant and we had this thing called a volcano roll, which was our most popular of the premium rolls. It cost $7.25. A California roll there cost $3.75. The volcano roll was a Cali roll cut into the shape of a triangle and topped with spicy mayo that has been heated up with about $1.10 worth of fish, literally just a few bits. You are much better off ordering a Cali roll and paying $1.50 extra for spicy mayo on the side and asking them to heat it up. Most other places will give you twice the serving that we will give you since the manager is a stingy bitch. Our fish can be up to 2 weeks old, but we will tell you that it is fresh if you ask. The person washing the dishes doesn't give 2 FKS about cleanliness, so don't be surprised if you get food poisoning. We never eat the food that we make. If people were to drive down a couple of lights, then they will find a place that is way better. Work for one of them. Donate your PC or car or boat places. Yeah, 95% of the companies don't donate jack. It ain't for the kids. IAMA Vet Tech. Veterinarians are not in it for the money. We want you to get your pets vaccinated because it's cheaper than treating parvo. I'd love to do everything for free, but I have bills just like you and the hospital does too. Working in restaurants for years, I've noticed people get mad if you don't have any specials for the night. What most people don't know is that when places run a special, it's because the product is about to spoil. You're not getting a high quality product, you're getting something that has been sitting in the fridge up until the point of waste. Specials aren't special. That many IT issues really can be solved with. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? People constantly joke about this, but easily a third of our tickets wouldn't need assistance if people would just try this before calling in. Or hey, call in and lie about it, Nancy, because I can easily check uptime and see your computer's been on for 23 days and that's just John security for me. Before deciding whether to order a large or a small drink, ask to see the cup sizes. Often the big cup will just be narrower and taller, with the small being wider and shorter. They might actually hold the same volume of liquid, in which case it makes more sense to order the small because it will be cheaper. Bonus tip. Sometimes the takeaway dishes are larger and give you more food for the same price, or vice versa. Work in retail. 90% if your coupon doesn't work, he'll make it work with no problems. If you're a DK and rude as shit to me, there is a good chance he'll forget to scan a coupon or scan an item an extra time. TLDR, be nice to retail workers, you DKs. Just like Disney World, General Motors won't declare a worker dead within one of their factories. If you die on site, they will do whatever they have to in order to keep alive until your body is off site. Otherwise they have to pay your family big time in insurance. Okay, so probably buried, but he'll go for it. If you order a cheese pizza with nothing else, it always comes with extra cheese. If you order extra cheese, you will be charged for it, but get the same pizza. Most pizza places use a conveyor oven and the pizza will burn without the extra cheese. This does not apply to higher-end brick oven places. I was working at a company that made some high-end furniture. In reality it was the same shitty wood mix as everything else, just with a fancy paint slapped on it. I made about 200 bathroom cabinets per day and they were being sold for €400+ per cabinet. €400 was the cheapest model and the most expensive one was over $800. Also I got paid the minimum wage for that. Don't trust reviews. The majority of them are paid for in some way. This includes Google, Amazon, Yelp, even the App Store and Google Play. Basically all user-generated content you see online is bought and paid for. Psychologists, IQ tests are really only useful to tell if something is seriously wrong. They are essentially useless for anyone over above average intelligence. I'm a cook. Unless you're in the hospital, you're coming to work no matter how sick. Super illegal, but that's just how it is. We don't always have time to wash hands before or after handling food. Food that is past the throw-out date sometimes gets used if we don't feel like making new stock to replace it. When I make your windows and doors, I write gay under all of the glazing tape or the beads. You'll never see it, but you'll know. Alcohol is really fucking bad for you. If you have the shakes, seek out a doctor and get treatment. Stop drinking. Smoke weed instead. FK. Do anything but drink alcohol. I hate selling alcohol to alcoholics. I'm not your friend just because I sell you the happy juice. I'm nice because it's my job and I sell the stuff because I have bills to pay. Get your shit together. I'm tired of seeing you in my store 3 times a day. Long-term care nurse. If grandma's insurance sucks, then she won't be getting any physical, occupational, or speech therapy services regardless of the need. On the other hand, if she has good insurance, she will be getting all of those services regardless of need until insurance says no more. It's sad that a lot of aspects of healthcare are decided on a financial level rather than a healthcare level. I work in a mortgage company. If somebody says they can get you X interest rate, it's usually what they can just quote you at that time, but it's not a locked estimate, and a few days before you close it will jump from 0.5% to full % before you close because the market's gone up. I worked at a meat processing plant. We were supposed to change our aprons and gloves every time we switched between working on different kinds of meats. It helps prevent the spread of disease. Spoiler alert, we didn't do that. In fact, our retail customers often stipulated that we only work on chicken for this reason. No beef, no venison, no duck. We lied through our teeth. When I was working in IT, I would always find clients porn. I judged everyone based on their fetishes. This one goes out to you, Vorkuk. Your kid's school psychologist will regularly give up on helping trouble kids and just push them through the system until they flunk out or someone else intervenes and gets the kid's services. You can't trust anything the school tells you. Our Wi-Fi for hotel guests is actually free, but we make you think it costs so that you'll sign up as a club member with us. Staff get to hit their membership targets for the month and we can spam your email with our latest offers. I'm a lifeguard. If I start performing CPR on your relative, you should probably find a clergyman of the relative's preference. Also, lifeguard standards can be ridiculously low. I have worked with some absolute morons. I know that many places near me run tight ships, but our standards are insanely low. The lifeguard office conversation is either sex or drugs whenever enough people are scheduled for the rotation to have multiple lifeguards in the office. Patrons can hear it. That kind of professionalism is echoed in how most of us handle the job. I look forward to my next pool because I can't imagine its standards being so low.